Welcome back to True Soul Stories. If you're just joining us, you need to watch part 1 first because what I'm about to tell you will blow your mind. Before we dive in, drop a comment and tell me where you're watching from. Are you in Seoul, New York, Lagos, London, Dallas? I want to know. Now hit that subscribe button because part 2 is about to get absolutely insane. The train had been moving for 6 hours when Young finally allowed himself to close his eyes. Clara's head rested on his shoulder, her breathing steady but her hands still gripping his like she was afraid he'd disappear if she let go. Young wasn't sleeping. Couldn't sleep. Every station they passed could be the one where police were waiting. Every passenger who glanced their way could be someone who recognized his face from the news. Because by now, the news would be everywhere. Yang's phone vibrated in his pocket. He'd turned it off hours ago, removed the SIM card, but the burner phone he'd bought at the station was receiving messages. From a number he didn't recognize. "I know where you're going. And I'm already there waiting." Yang's blood went cold. He looked down at Clara, peaceful for the first time in months, and made a decision. When the train stopped at Busan, Yang gently shook her awake. "We're getting off here." Clara rubbed her eyes. "I thought we were going further south." Change of plans. They stepped onto the platform at 4 a.m. The station was nearly empty. Just a few early morning workers and a couple of students sleeping on benches. Yang scanned every face, every shadow, every possible threat. "What's wrong?" Clara asked. "Someone knows we're on this train." "How is that possible? We bought tickets with cash." "I don't know, but we need to disappear. Completely." They took a taxi to the port. Yang paid the driver extra to forget he'd ever seen them. At the docks, fishing boats were preparing for the day's work. Yang approached an older man loading nets onto a weathered vessel. "I need passage. Somewhere far from here." The man looked at Yang, then at Clara, then back at Yang. "I don't want trouble." Yang pulled out a thick stack of bills. More money than the man probably made in 3 months. "You won't have any. Just get us across the water." The man counted the money slowly, then nodded. "Get on board. We leave in 10 minutes." The boat was small and smelled like fish and diesel fuel. Clara sat on a wooden crate, her arms wrapped around herself. "Where are we going?" "Japan. From there, we'll figure out the next step." "Yang, we can't run forever. Watch me." But here's where it gets crazy. As the boat pulled away from the dock, Young saw them. 3 men in dark clothes running toward the water's edge. One of them pulled out a phone. Another raised a pair of binoculars. They'd been seconds away from being caught. Clara saw them too. Her hand found Yang's and squeezed tight. How did they find us so fast? Yang's mind was racing. The burner phone. Someone had tracked the burner phone. But he'd bought it with cash from a random shop. Unless someone had been tracking Clara. "When did you last use your phone?" he asked. "Before we got on the train. I turned it off like you said." "Before that, did you tell anyone where you were going?" Clara's face went pale. "I texted my brother. Told him I was safe. That he shouldn't worry." Young closed his eyes. That was it. Darius must have gone to the police, and the police must have traced Clara's phone before she turned it off. Or worse, what if Darius had told someone else? What if Yang's enemies had gotten to him first? The boat cut through dark water, heading toward Japan. The crossing would take hours. Yang used the time to think. They couldn't stay in Asia. His face was too well known. Clara's face would be on every news channel by now. They needed to go somewhere Yang's organization had never operated. "We need to get to the United States," Yang said. Clara looked at him. "What?" "It's the only place that makes sense. My organization never had operations there. Too much competition, too much risk. It's the one place they won't immediately search." "Yang, I can't just go to America." "You're American. You have a passport. You can go home." "Home?" Clara laughed bitterly. "I haven't been back to Atlanta in 3 years." "Then we'll figure it out. But we can't stay here. Asia is too small, too connected. We need an ocean between us and them." The boat reached a small port town in Japan by late afternoon. Yang and Clara slipped off without papers, without documentation, just 2 more faces in a crowd. Yang found an internet cafe and used a VPN to access the dark web. Within an hour, he'd arranged for 2 fake passports. Canadian. A married couple on vacation. "Michael and Sarah Chun," Yang said, handing Clara her new identity. "We met in Toronto, got married last year, and we're traveling through Asia on our honeymoon." Clara stared at the passport. At the photo that looked like her, but wasn't quite right. At the name that belonged to someone else. "This is really happening," she whispered. "We don't have a choice." They bought new clothes from a discount store. Nothing flashy. Nothing memorable. Just generic tourist wear. At a small hotel near the airport, Yang dyed his hair lighter. Clara cut hers shorter. They both wore colored contacts. Small changes, but enough to make facial recognition software less certain. The flight to Los Angeles was in 2 days. Those 2 days felt like years. Young barely slept. Every sound in the hallway made him reach for the weapon he'd managed to acquire. Every knock on the door sent his heart racing. But no one came. On the morning of their flight, Yang and Clara walked through Narita Airport like they were actually Michael and Sarah Chun. Smiled at security. Joked with the gate agent. The hardest part was the moment they handed over their passports. The agent scanned them. Looked at the screen. Looked at Yang. Looked at Clara. Yang's hand moved slightly toward his concealed weapon. Then the agent smiled and handed back the passports. Have a nice flight, Mr. and Mrs. Chun. Yang exhaled for what felt like the first time in hours. 13 hours later, they landed at LAX. Los Angeles in early spring was warm and bright and completely overwhelming. The airport was massive, crowded with people from every corner of the world. Yang had been to many cities, but never America. They cleared customs without incident. Collected their single shared suitcase. Walked out into California sunshine. Now what? Clara asked. Yang had been thinking about this for the entire flight. We disappear. Completely. New names, new lives, new everything. We find a place where no one knows us, and we start over. Just like that. Just like that. They took a shuttle to a budget hotel in Koreatown. Yang thought it ironic, running from Korea and ending up in a neighborhood that reminded them of exactly what they'd fled. But it was also smart. They spoke the language, understood the culture, could blend in while they figured out their next move. That first night in Los Angeles, Yang stood on the hotel balcony and looked out at the sprawling city. Millions of people, millions of stories, millions of places to hide. For the first time since they'd run, he allowed himself to hope. Maybe they could actually do this. He was wrong. Yang woke up at 3 a.m. to find Clara gone. The bed beside him was empty. The bathroom light was off. Her shoes were still by the door. Panic seized him. He checked the balcony, the hallway, the lobby. Nothing. Then he saw it. A note on the table, written in Clara's handwriting. I'm sorry. I can't do this anymore. My father needs me. My brother needs me. I can't keep running. I'm turning myself in. Don't try to find me. Be safe. I love you. Yang's world tilted. She'd left him. He grabbed his jacket and ran. The closest police station was 6 blocks away. Yang sprinted through empty streets, his legs burning. He burst through the station doors, wild-eyed and desperate. I'm looking for a woman. Clara Washington. She would have come in within the last hour. The officer at the desk looked at him strangely. Sir, no one by that name has come in tonight. Yang's mind raced. Are you sure? She would have said she was turning herself in. I've been at this desk all night. No one matching that description has been here. If you're hooked, smash that like button right now and drop a comment telling me what you think happened to Clara. Yang ran back to the hotel, his mind spinning through possibilities. If Clara hadn't gone to the police, where had she gone? He checked his phone. Nothing. Checked her phone that she'd left behind. Nothing recent except. Wait. There was a draft text message. Not sent. Just saved. Brother, I need you. I'm in Los Angeles. Koreatown. I can't keep running. Please help me. Darius. She'd reached out to Darius. Yang's blood ran cold because he knew what that meant. Darius hated him. Blamed him for everything that had happened to their father. If Darius knew where they were. Yang was packing their things when his burner phone rang. Unknown number. He answered. Hello, Yang. The voice was wrong. Not Darius. Not Clara. Someone else. Someone whose voice Yang recognized, but couldn't quite place. Who is this? You don't remember me? I'm hurt. We worked together for almost a year before you decided to become a hero and destroy everything we built. One of his former lieutenants. Someone who'd escaped prosecution. Someone who wanted revenge. Where is she? Your little girlfriend? She's right here with me. Alive. For now. Yang's grip on the phone tightened so hard the plastic cracked. If you hurt her. You'll what? You're in America now. You have no power here. No organization. No men. You're just a man who can barely walk. What do you want? What do you think I want? You took everything from me. My money. My position. My future. So now I'm going to take everything from you. This has nothing to do with Clara. Oh, but it has everything to do with her. She's the reason you betrayed us. So I'm going to make you watch her die. Slowly. Painfully. And then I'm going to kill you too. Tell me where you are. We can settle this. You and me. Leave her out of it. You're in no position to make demands. But I'll give you a chance. Come find us. I'll even give you a clue. We're somewhere she feels safe. Somewhere that reminds her of home. The line went dead. Yang stared at the phone, his mind racing. Somewhere she feels safe. somewhere that reminds her of home. Clara had grown up in Atlanta, but she'd been in Los Angeles for less than 24 hours. Where would she go? Then it hit him. Her father had been a teacher, a history teacher. Clara had mentioned once that her father loved museums, loved teaching students about civil rights history, and Los Angeles had a museum, the California African American Museum. It was a guess, a desperate, probably wrong guess, but it was all Yang had. He grabbed his weapon and ran. The museum was in Exposition Park, about 30 minutes from Koreatown. Yang took a taxi, paid the driver to speed, and arrived just as the sun was rising. The building was closed. Wouldn't open for hours. But Yang saw signs of forced entry at a side door. He went in quietly, weapon ready, every sense on high alert. The museum was dark and silent. Exhibits about African American history lined the walls. Photos of struggle and triumph. Yang moved through the space like a ghost, checking every room, every corner. He found them in the main exhibition hall. Clara was tied to a chair, tape over her mouth, tears streaming down her face. 3 men stood around her. One of them was Park Jin-ho, Yang's former lieutenant. Right on time, Jin-ho said, smiling. I knew you'd figure it out. You always were smart. Yang kept his weapon trained on Jin-ho. Let her go. This is between us. Lower your weapon first. Not a chance. Jin-ho shrugged and pulled out his own weapon, pressed it against Clara's head. Then we have a standoff. And she dies either way. Yang's mind calculated angles, distances, possibilities. 3 men, all armed. Clara in the direct line of fire. The odds were impossible. But here's where it gets insane. The museum doors burst open and LAPD officers flooded in. Dozens of them. Weapons drawn. Voices shouting commands. Drop your weapons. Hands in the air. Now, Jin-ho's face went white with shock. His men looked at each other, panic setting in. Yang didn't hesitate. He dropped his weapon and raised his hands. But Jin-ho didn't. Instead, he grabbed Clara and pulled her up, using her as a shield. Everyone back. I'll kill her. The officers stopped advancing but didn't lower their weapons. Sir, release the hostage. There's no way out of this. Jin-ho was backing toward a rear exit, dragging Clara with him. Yang watched it happen in slow motion. Watched the woman he loved being taken away from him again. Then Clara did something no one expected. She went completely limp. Dead weight. Dropped straight down, pulling Jin-ho off balance. His weapon discharged into the air. Officers opened fire. Jin-ho went down. His men went down. The entire thing was over in seconds. Clara was on the floor, curled into a ball, hands over her head. Yang ran to her, dropping to his knees beside her, pulling her into his arms. I've got you. You're safe. I've got you. Clara was sobbing, shaking, holding on to him like he was the only solid thing in a world that had gone completely insane. Officers surrounded them, weapons still raised. Both of you. Hands where we can see them. Yang raised his hands slowly, still holding Clara. A detective pushed through the crowd. Older man, probably in his 50s, with tired eyes. Yang? The Yang? The one who testified against half of Seoul's criminal organizations. Yang nodded. The detective looked at Clara, then back at Yang. We've been looking for you two for 3 days. You're wanted in South Korea for questioning about the incident in Miss Washington's apartment. We were defending ourselves. I know. We've reviewed the security footage. You're not being charged with a crime. The detective paused. But the Korean government wants you extradited. And your friend here. He nodded toward Jin-ho's body. He wasn't the only one looking for you. There's a price on your head. $500,000. Dead or alive. Yang felt Clara's grip on him tighten. So what happens now? Yang asked. Now? Now you come with us. We put you in protective custody. Figure out what to do with you. Whether to send you back to Korea or keep you here as a witness. The detective's expression softened slightly. But for what it's worth, I've read your file. What you did, testifying against your own people, that took guts. They were taken to a secure location. Not a jail. Not quite a safe house. Somewhere in between. Separate rooms. Separate interrogations. Hours of questions about what happened in Seoul. About the warehouse. About the apartment. About Jin-ho and his men. When Yang finally saw Clara again, it was in a small conference room with two-way mirrors and cameras recording everything. She looked exhausted. Broken. I'm sorry, she said immediately. I panicked. I thought if I turned myself in, maybe we could fix this. Maybe there was a way to make this right without running forever. Did you actually contact Darius? I tried, but he didn't answer. Then someone else called me. Said they had my brother. Said if I didn't come to them, they'd kill him. Her voice broke. So I went. I left you that note because I didn't want you to follow me. Young reached across the table and took her hand. I'll always follow you. I'll always try to save you. That's not going to change. Even if it gets you killed? Especially then. A knock on the door interrupted them. The detective from earlier walked in, carrying a folder. I have news. Some good, some bad. Which do you want first? Bad? Young said immediately. The Korean government is officially requesting your extradition. Both of you. However, since Miss Washington is an American citizen, we're not obligated to send her back. Clara's eyes widened. What about Yang? That's where it gets complicated. We could send him back, but we could also grant him asylum as a witness who provided valuable testimony against organized crime. And the good news? Young asked. The detective opened the folder and slid several photos across the table. Your brother, Miss Washington. Darius. He's alive and well. Currently in FBI custody in Atlanta. Turns out he contacted them 3 days ago, told them everything, and asked for help. Clara's hands flew to her mouth. He's okay. More than okay. He's the reason we knew where to find you. He told us about your text message. About you being in Koreatown. We've had officers watching the area. So Darius doesn't hate me? Clara whispered. Hate you? Miss Washington, your brother has been calling every hour asking if we've found you yet. He's been out of his mind with worry. The detective smiled slightly. He wants you to call him. As soon as possible. Clara looked at Yang, her eyes filling with tears again. My brother doesn't hate me. Apparently not. The detective stood up. I'll give you two some privacy. We'll talk more about your legal situation tomorrow. For now, you're safe. You're protected. When he left, Clara collapsed forward, her forehead resting on the table. I can't believe this is real. I can't believe we're actually safe. For now, Young said quietly. But there are still people out there who want us dead. So what do we do? Young looked at her. At the woman who'd made him feel human again. We fight. We stay here. We apply for asylum. We build a life. He squeezed her hand. And we don't let them win. Over the next few weeks, that's exactly what they did. Young applied for political asylum, claiming persecution from organized crime elements in South Korea. Clara provided supporting testimony. So did Darius, who flew to Los Angeles to be with his sister. The reunion between Clara and Darius was emotional. Lots of tears. Lots of apologies. Darius looked at Young with eyes that still held anger, but also something else. Grudging respect. I don't like you, Darius said bluntly. I don't like what your world did to my family. But Clara says you're trying to be better. So I'm going to trust her judgment. For now, that's all I can ask for, Young replied. But if you hurt her, Darius continued, his voice hardening, I will make sure you regret it. Understood. Marcus Washington called from Seoul. His voice was stronger now. Healthier. Clara tells me you two are trying to stay in America, Marcus said. Yes, sir. It's the safest option. For both of you. Or just for you. Young paused. Sir, my daughter gave up everything to run away with you. Her job. Her life here. I need to know that you're worth that sacrifice. I don't know if I am, Young said honestly. But I'm going to spend every day trying to be. Marcus was quiet for a moment. That's the right answer. Now listen carefully. I've been talking to some people. Lawyers. Immigration specialists. They think they can help you. Make your asylum case stronger. But it's going to cost money. I have money, Young said. Good. Then use it wisely. Build a real life. Be the man my daughter sees when she looks at you. The asylum hearing was 3 months later. Young sat in a small courtroom, Clara beside him, Darius in the gallery behind them. A judge reviewed his case. Looked at the evidence. Read the testimonies. Mr. Young, you've led an extraordinary life. Much of it criminal. Much of it violent. You've hurt people. Destroyed families. The judge paused. But you also made a choice. When confronted with your crimes, you chose to testify. To help law enforcement dismantle the very organization you created. To risk your life to do the right thing. Young held his breath. The court finds that you face credible threats to your life if returned to South Korea. That you acted as a witness in good faith. That you deserve protection under international law. The judge looked directly at Young. Your asylum request is granted. Welcome to the United States. Clara grabbed Yang's hand and squeezed so hard, he thought his bones might break. They'd won. They'd actually won. Outside the courthouse, Young stood in the California sun and looked at Clara. We can stay, he said, still not quite believing it. We can actually build a life here. So what do we do now? Young thought about it. About all the things he'd lost. All the things he'd gained. Now we disappear for real. Not hiding. Not running. Just living. Being normal people with normal lives. You think we can do that? No, Young said honestly. but I think we can try. They moved to a small apartment in Pasadena. Nothing fancy, just 2 bedrooms and a view of the mountains. Young got a job as a security consultant. Clara started teaching English again at a local community college. It was boring. It was mundane. It was absolutely perfect. For 3 months, life was quiet, peaceful, almost normal. Young would wake up every morning and check the news, expecting to see headlines about bounties or manhunts. But there was nothing, just silence. Maybe they'd actually pulled it off. Then one Saturday in late June, Yang came home from the grocery store to find Clara on the phone, her face pale. "I understand," she was saying. "Thank you for letting me know." She hung up and looked at Yang. "That was my brother. He said Dad got another call. From someone asking questions about us. About where we are." Yang's blood went cold. Who? Darius didn't know. But whoever it was knew details. Knew about the asylum hearing. Knew about my job. Knew too much. Yang set down the groceries slowly. "We need to move. Tonight." "Yang, we can't keep running." "We're not running. We're being smart." Yang was already making calls. "Someone found us." "Which means someone's been watching. So we just leave? Just abandon the life we've built? We abandon it, or we die defending it. Your choice." Clara looked at him. At the man who destroyed his entire world to save her. Where would we go? But wait. Here's where everything changes. Before Yang could answer, his phone rang. Unknown number. He answered cautiously. "Hello. Yang? It's Detective Morrison. From LAPD. Yang relaxed slightly. "Detective, what can I do for you? I need you to come down to the station. Both of you. Right away." "What's wrong?" "We arrested someone an hour ago. Korean national. Found him staking out your apartment building with surveillance equipment and a weapon." Morrison paused. He had a laptop with photos of you and Miss Washington. Detailed schedules. Bank records. Everything. Yang's mind was racing. Did he say who hired him? He's not talking. But Yang, there's something else. We pulled his records. He's connected to the same organization you testified against. And according to our sources, he's not working alone. Morrison's voice lowered. There are at least 3 more people in Los Angeles right now. All looking for you. Yang looked at Clara. At the fear creeping back into her eyes. "What do? You come in. We put you in protective custody. Again. Until we can figure out who's coordinating this." Yang hung up and told Clara everything. She sat down slowly. "This is never going to end, is it? Not while people want revenge. Not while there's money being offered for our location." Yang sat beside her. "But we have options. We can go into protective custody. We can relocate again." "No," Clara said firmly. "No more running. No more hiding. No more living our lives in fear." "Clara, I'm serious. My father almost died because of this world. My brother's been threatened. We've been chased across the ocean." She turned to look at him. "And I'm done. I'm done letting them control our future." Yang stared at her. "What are you suggesting?" "I'm suggesting we stop running and start fighting back. We find out who's sending these people. We expose them. We use the legal system, the media, whatever it takes." "That's dangerous. Everything we do is dangerous." Clara's voice rose. "At least this way, we're taking control." Yang had spent his life making calculated decisions, weighing risks. But looking at Clara now, at the fierce determination in her eyes, he realized she was right. "Okay," Yang said slowly. "We fight back. But we do it smart. We work with the police. We build a case." Clara nodded. "Together? Always together." They went to the police station that night. Met with Detective Morrison and a team of federal agents. "We want to help," Yang told them. "Whatever you need. Testimony. Evidence. Cooperation. We'll give you everything if you help us end this." The lead FBI agent, a woman named Chun, studied them carefully. "You understand what you're offering? If you go public with this, if you testify again, you become targets." "We're already targets," Clara said. "At least this way we're targets with the full force of American law enforcement protecting us." Agent Chin smiled slightly. "I like her. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to set a trap." Over the next 2 weeks, they worked with law enforcement to create a plan. Yang and Clara would continue living their normal lives, but with surveillance teams watching constantly. Every person who approached them would be monitored. The goal was to identify the network, to find out who was coordinating the attacks. It was risky. It was terrifying. But it was their best shot. Yang went to work every day knowing he might be followed. Clara taught her classes knowing someone might be watching. And slowly, the trap began to work. They identified 2 more surveillance teams. Arrested 4 more operatives. Traced communications back to Seoul. But the person running the operation remained hidden. Until one afternoon in late July, when Yang received a phone call at work. From a voice he'd hoped never to hear again. "Hello, Yang." It was Nari. Yang's blood turned to ice. "You're supposed to be in prison." "Supposed to be, yes. But money and connections have a way of opening doors." Her voice was cold. "Did you really think you could destroy everything and just walk away?" "Nari, you need to turn yourself in. I've been very careful, very patient, and now I'm ready to finish what I started." She paused. "I'm going to take everything from you, Yang. Starting with Clara." The line went dead. Yang immediately called Detective Morrison. "Nari's out. She's here. In Los Angeles." "That's impossible. She just called me. Threatened Clara. We need protection now." Morrison was already moving. "Where's Clara?" "Teaching. At the college. I'm sending units there right now." Yang was already running. Already in his car. Already breaking every traffic law. He called her phone. No answer. Called again. Still nothing. Yang burst onto campus and sprinted toward Clara's building. He reached Clara's classroom and threw open the door. She was there, standing at the whiteboard, teaching, looking completely safe and alive. She turned, surprised. "Yang? What are you?" Yang pulled her into his arms, held her so tight she could barely breathe. "We need to go, right now." Clara started to protest, but something in his voice stopped her. She grabbed her bag and followed him out. In the hallway, Yang explained about Nari's call, about the threat. They were halfway across campus when Yang saw her. Nari, standing by the fountain, wearing sunglasses despite the heat. Their eyes met. She smiled. Then she turned and walked away, disappearing into a crowd of students. Yang wanted to chase her, but Clara grabbed his arm. "Don't. It's what she wants. To separate us." She was right. Yang forced himself to stay put. Called Morrison. Within minutes, police were swarming the area. But Nari was gone. Vanished. That night, Agent Shin called them into a secure meeting. "We have a problem. Nari didn't escape from prison. She was never there. Someone paid off officials to fake her incarceration. She's been free this entire time. Planning this. So what do we do?" Clara asked. "We evacuate you. New location. New identities. Maximum security." Yang was shaking his head. "No. No more running. We agreed we were going to fight back. That was before. I don't care. We're done running." Yang looked at Agent Chun. "Use us as bait. Set up a meeting. Tell Nari I want to talk. Draw her out. That's suicide. It's the only way to end this." Yang's voice was firm. "Set up the meeting. You can take her into custody." Agent Chin looked at Morrison. Morrison looked at Clara. "What do you think, Miss Washington?" Clara took Yang's hand. "I think we're tired of being victims. I think we're ready to take our lives back." The meeting was arranged for 3 days later. A warehouse in downtown Los Angeles. The same kind of place where this had all started back in Seoul. Yang hated the symmetry. He and Clara arrived at noon. The building was empty except for police and federal agents hidden everywhere. Surveillance equipment recorded everything. They were as prepared as possible. Nari arrived exactly on time. She walked in alone, her heels clicking on concrete. Still beautiful. Still composed. "Hello, Yang. Miss Washington. Thank you for agreeing to meet." "What do you want, Nari?" Yang asked. "What I've always wanted. What you took from me." She moved closer. "But I'm willing to be reasonable. I'm willing to make a deal." "What kind of deal?" "You have money hidden away. Assets I can't access. Transfer them to me, and I'll disappear. Forever." Yang studied her, looking for the lie, looking for the trap. "And if I refuse? Then I keep sending people after you. Keep making your life impossible." Nari's smile was cold. "I have patience, Yang. I have resources. You have none of those things." Clara spoke up. "How do we know you'll actually leave us alone?" "You don't. You'll have to trust me." Nari laughed. "But really, what choice do you have? Here's where everything explodes." Yang reached into his jacket. Every hidden officer tensed. He pulled out not a weapon, but a USB drive. "Everything you want is on here. Account numbers. Passwords. About $20 million. Nari's eyes lit up. She reached for the drive. Yang pulled it back. "But before I give this to you, I need to know something. Did you kill anyone to get to us?" "Does it matter?" "Yes. It matters to me." Nari shrugged. "A few people got in my way. They were handled. Nothing personal." Yang's jaw tightened. "Give me names." "No. Give me the drive." "Names first." Nari pulled out a weapon, pointed it at Clara. "Drive first." Every hidden officer started moving. Voices shouted commands. Agents poured out. "Drop the weapon." Hands in the air. But Nari didn't lower the weapon. Instead, she pressed it against her own head. "Everyone stop, or I'll do it." Agent Chin stepped forward, hands raised. Nari, don't. You took everything from me. Nari screamed at Yang. I loved you. I took care of you. And you threw it all away for her. I never loved you, Yang said quietly. I used you, just like you used me. We were never real. Nari's hand shook. Tears ran down her face. You're right. We were never real. But this is real. This pain. This is what you gave me. She pulled the trigger. The sound echoed through the warehouse. Nari crumpled to the ground. Agents rushed forward. Medics were called. But Yang could see it was too late. She was gone. Clara buried her face in Yang's chest. He held her tight. It was over. Finally, truly over. Or so they thought. 3 weeks later, Yang and Clara were having dinner at a small Korean restaurant in Pasadena. Celebrating Clara's birthday. A man approached their table. Older. Distinguished. Wearing an expensive suit. Excuse me. Are you Yang? Yang tensed. Who's asking? My name is Robert Chun. I'm an attorney representing the estate of Park Nari. He handed Yang a business card. She left something for you. A letter. Requested that it be delivered exactly 3 weeks after her death. Yang took the envelope cautiously. Inside was a letter in Nari's handwriting. Dear Yang, if you're reading this, I'm dead. And you're probably relieved. But I wanted you to know something. The bounty on your head? It wasn't just me. I was working with others. People who have more money, more power, more patience than I ever did. I was just the beginning. They're coming for you, Yang. And they won't stop until you're dead. Sleep well. Nari. Yang's hands shook. Clara read over his shoulder. Is this real? Or is she trying to scare us? Yang looked at the attorney. What else did she leave? Chen handed him a small box. Inside was a phone. Already turned on. It rang immediately. Yang answered. Hello, Yang. The voice was electronically distorted. Nari was right. She was just the beginning. We're the people she worked for. The ones who want you to suffer. Who are you? We're everyone you betrayed. Everyone you testified against. We're the collective vengeance of everything you destroyed. What do you want? We want you to run. We want you to keep looking over your shoulder. We want you to never feel safe. And when you finally let your guard down, that's when we'll strike. The line went dead. Yang looked at Clara, at the fear creeping back into her eyes. This is never going to end, she whispered. Yang took her hand. Then we don't stop fighting. We don't stop living. We make every day worth it. How? By refusing to be victims. By building a life so good, so full, that even they can't take it away from us. Clara looked at him, at the man who'd walked out of a wheelchair for her, who'd destroyed an empire for her. Okay, she said. Then let's make it worth it. They walked out of the restaurant hand in hand, into the Los Angeles night, into an uncertain future. Behind them, in the shadows, someone watched. Someone waited. Someone planned. Because the game wasn't over. Not even close. It was just beginning. And somewhere in Seoul, in a secure room, powerful people were making plans. Writing checks. Coordinating attacks. Yang and Clara's story was far from finished. But that's a story for part 3. Drop a comment right now and tell me if you want part 3. Because I'm leaving you here, with Yang and Clara walking into the darkness, knowing that somewhere out there, enemies are plotting their destruction. Hit that like button if this had your heart racing. Subscribe to True Soul Stories because you know you need to see what happens next. And comment part 3 if you're ready for the final chapter. Because I promise you, part 3 will blow your mind. Where are you watching from?